Why do so many people decline? After 80. Have you ever noticed how many people seem to fade after 80? Even those who were sharp, active, and independent just a few years earlier often begin to decline more quickly than expected. Most people think it's just genetics or bad luck, but that's only part of the story. In this video, we're going to explore 5 unexpected reasons why many older adults struggle to stay healthy or live longer after 80. These aren't the usual suspects like poor diet, smoking, or lack of exercise. They're deeper, more subtle factors, often overlooked, even by people who've done most things right. The good news? Once you understand these hidden causes, you can take action to guard against them, no matter your current age. So if you've ever wondered what really gets in the way of aging well beyond 80, and what you can do now to change that, stay with me until the end of this video. These 5 insights might just shift the way you age before it's too late. Reason number 1: loss of microsocial engagement. One of the most overlooked reasons older adults decline after 80 is the quiet disappearance of something called microsocial engagement. These aren't your deep, meaningful friendships or big family gatherings. Those are important, of course. But what we're talking about are the small, everyday social interactions that used to fill your life without you even realizing it. A quick hello to the mailman, a shared laugh with the cashier, a nod to the neighbor walking their dog. These small touchpoints seem minor, but they're powerful. They help regulate your nervous system, keep your brain's social circuits active, and reinforce your sense of connection and belonging. But after 80, many people start skipping the grocery store, relying on family or delivery instead. They stop going on walks, especially if the weather's bad or their balance feels shaky. They talk to strangers less often because their hearing isn't what it used to be. Slowly, these little social moments disappear, and with them, so does something deeper: vitality. The truth is, most people don't even notice it happening. They think they're just simplifying life. But what they're really doing is cutting off the low-level social stimulation that keeps their brains alert, their moods steady, and their bodies feeling alive. I've known men and women in their 80s who stayed mentally sharp simply because they kept the same morning routine, walking to the local cafe, greeting the staff, nodding at familiar faces. Those 5 minutes of light connection were more than a habit. They were lifelines. They gave the day shape, purpose, and a sense of being seen. When microsocial engagement fades, the brain starts to perceive subtle loneliness and responds as if it's under stress. Hormone levels shift, inflammation rises, and immune function weakens. Brain networks responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation begin to shrink. In plain terms, you feel and function older, faster. If you've noticed you're talking to fewer people, skipping small errands, or feeling invisible in your community, it's time to reverse that. Because even those tiny, forgettable interactions are sending your brain and body a vital message. You matter. You're still part of life. And that message might be one of the strongest medicines for staying not just alive, but vibrant. Reason number 2: overcautious inactivity. Here's another silent reason. Many older adults don't thrive past 80. Being too careful. At first glance, it seems wise, avoiding unnecessary risk. Maybe you had a near fall on the stairs or felt unsteady during a walk. So you decide to cut back. You stop bending over, avoid uneven sidewalks, or choose to sit more often. Friends and family might even encourage it. Don't push it, they say. Take it easy. Before long, your days become safe. But still, here's what no one tells you. When movement stops, strength fades. Not just in your muscles, but in your balance, your coordination, and your confidence. Your body isn't a machine that improves with rest. It's more like a garden that needs regular tending. Without use, it doesn't maintain. It withers. One of the first places it shows? Your core. Those deep abdominal and back muscles are essential for standing, walking, even getting out of a chair. If you stop using them, even for a few weeks, they weaken. And once your core weakens, your balance deteriorates, and the cycle accelerates. I remember a man named Walter, age 82. He used to walk a mile every evening until he slipped once on a wet sidewalk. He wasn't injured, just shaken. But that one scare led him to stop walking. Within 6 months, he lost 10 pounds of muscle. His legs felt unstable. His confidence plummeted. He didn't stop because he was weak. He became weak because he stopped. Now, I'm not saying to ignore real risks. Use handrails, wear supportive shoes, clear your walkways, use a cane if it helps. But there's a big difference between managing risk and surrendering to it. When fear starts dictating your movement, your body forgets how to move. So if you've been cutting back, not because you can't move, but because you're afraid of what might happen, it's time to pause and ask yourself, am I protecting myself, or am I slowly disappearing? Because thriving after 80 isn't just about avoiding falls. It's about staying in motion, carefully, mindfully, consistently. Movement keeps your systems online, your brain alert, and your heart engaged with life. If you found this insight helpful, type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us keep bringing you content that informs, supports, and inspires. Reason number 3: disrupted sleep cycles from irregular light exposure. Inside your body is a powerful internal clock. It doesn't tick, but it controls nearly everything. Your mood, your metabolism, your immune system, and even how your brain repairs itself at night. After age 80, this internal rhythm, your circadian clock, becomes especially delicate. And one of the biggest reasons it gets thrown off? Irregular exposure to light. It happens gradually. You might start sleeping more during the day, napping in the afternoon, dozing in front of the TV. You may stop going outside as much, especially during colder months. In the evenings, you leave lights on longer or scroll on a screen in bed. These habits seem harmless, but they quietly confuse your body about when to be alert and when to rest. Bright light in the morning tells your body, wake up, get moving, energize. Darkness at night says, slow down, release melatonin, prepare for healing sleep. But when there's too little daylight or too much artificial light at night, those signals get scrambled. The result? You might struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep. You wake up groggy. Your energy dips throughout the day. Your memory feels foggier than usual. And over time, these disruptions can lower immunity, destabilize your mood, and even raise your risk of cognitive decline. There's also the issue of vitamin D. Your body naturally makes it when your skin is exposed to sunlight, and low levels are linked to fatigue, bone loss, and weakened immunity. After 80, something surprising happens. Your skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D significantly drops. This means that getting outside, even for just a few minutes each day, becomes more than a nice to have. It becomes critical. Without enough natural light, your bones weaken, your muscles tire faster, and your immune system begins to lose its edge. I once spoke to an 84-year-old woman named Helen. She was feeling increasingly tired and disoriented. Her blood work looked normal. Her diet hadn't changed. No new medications. Then her doctor suggested something simple. Sit by the window every morning for 20 minutes with the blinds wide open and turn off all screens an hour before bed. Within 2 weeks, everything changed. Her sleep improved. Her memory sharpened. Her mood lifted, not because of a new pill, but because of light. If you've been spending most of your time indoors, curtains drawn, or your nights filled with the blue glow of a phone or TV, it's time to shift. Step outside within an hour of waking, even if it's just to your porch. Let your eyes and skin soak in that morning light. At night, dim the lights. Give your body permission to slow down. These simple rhythms are not just comforting, they are essential. Because what many don't realize is this: we don't just age from wear and tear. We age from disorganization, from our internal systems falling out of sync. But when you restore your light cues, your sleep, your schedule, you bring your body back into harmony. You remind it, even at 85 years old, we're still on schedule. We're still in motion. We're still here. Number 4, emotional suppression. From loss and isolation. By the time most people reach their 80s, they've experienced more loss than younger generations can imagine. A spouse, a sibling, a lifelong friend, sometimes even a child. And while the outside world may offer polite sympathy, few understand how deeply these losses accumulate, not just in memory, but in the body. What happens after 80 often isn't just grief. It's emotional suppression. It's the quiet habit of swallowing pain instead of expressing it, of putting on a brave face because you feel like you should be used to it by now. But here's the truth. The body doesn't forget. When grief isn't processed, when it's not spoken, not shared, not felt, it doesn't vanish, it gets stored. Over time, that hidden sorrow affects your immune system, your digestion, your sleep. It changes your hormones. It puts your nervous system in a constant, quiet state of tension. And here's the hardest part. It happens silently. You might look calm. You might say you're fine. But if your shoulders have grown heavier, your breathing shallower, your spark a little dimmer, grief may be the reason. I once knew a man named George, 86 years old. He lost his wife of 60 years. He didn't cry much, said he was doing all right. But within a year he'd lost weight, stopped going to the senior center, and couldn't sleep. Not from illness, but from sorrow his body had never been allowed to release. What keeps people alive well past 80 isn't just physical health. It's emotional ventilation. It's the ability to say, I miss her. I'm still angry. I feel alone. And not be judged for it. That kind of release allows the heart to breathe again. And when the heart breathes, the body heals. People who live long often have an outlet, a journal, a friend, a therapist, a community, a quiet faith. The method doesn't matter. The expression does, because what gets expressed can be transformed. What gets buried festers. If you've been holding something in, not because you want to, but because you didn't know where to put it, make space for it now. Not just for your emotions, but for your life. Because the heart can only carry so much before it begins to shut down. And if you want to make it well past 80, not just breathing, but truly alive, you have to let your heart feel too. If you're still watching and found this part meaningful, comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Your support helps us keep creating valuable content just for you. Number 5, the gradual loss of daily purpose. One of the most invisible reasons people begin to fade after 80 is this: they slowly lose their daily purpose. Not some grand philosophical mission, but the simple, daily kind. Watering the plants before the sun gets too hot. Feeding the neighborhood cat. Writing a letter to a granddaughter. Fixing the hinge on the back gate. But when these routines start to disappear, when mornings come with nothing to do, and nights arrive without reflection, something inside begins to shut down, because the body listens to the mind. And when the mind sees no reason to move forward, the body follows. Appetite fades, movement slows, organs go quiet, not because they're broken, but because they're waiting for a reason to switch back on. This decline is easy to miss. Maybe your weekly bridge game got canceled. Maybe your knees made volunteering too painful. Maybe the grandkids visit less often now. You tell yourself it's normal, that it's just aging. But deep down, you feel it. The days blending together, one quieter than the last. I met a woman once, Ruth, 88 years old, who seemed more alive than people half her age. She wasn't wealthy, she wasn't in perfect health. But she had one secret, routine. Every Monday she wrote postcards to shut-ins from her church. Every Thursday she made soup for the shelter. Every day at 4 p.m., she sat by the window to wave at the school kids walking home. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave her days structure. It gave her heart rhythm. It gave her life continuity. And that's the secret. The body stays alive as long as it believes it's needed. Even the smallest purpose is fuel. It tells your cells to repair, your brain to keep learning, your spirit to keep rising. So if your days have begun to lose shape, don't ignore it. That's not just sadness. It's a signal. Your body is asking for rhythm again, for connection, for purpose. Because the key to living past 80 isn't just keeping your heart beating. It's giving your heart a reason to beat. Final thoughts. Most people don't fade after 80 because of one big moment. Not a fall, not a diagnosis, not a birthday. It's the slow fading of habits, of light exposure, of emotional expression, of daily purpose. These shifts are subtle, but the good news is they're reversible. One walk outside, one small stretch, one meaningful conversation, just one thing each day that brings rhythm, connection, or purpose. So think back to the 5 reasons we covered. Which one surprised you the most? Which one felt uncomfortably familiar? Which one are you willing to act on today? Because while you can't stop aging, you can change how you age. And if you stay awake to the quiet shifts, if you guard your rhythms, protect your purpose, and let yourself feel what needs to be felt, you won't just reach 80. You'll move far beyond it, fully, deeply, and on your own terms.